everyone. Welcome. I'm Olga Milosevic, delighted to be with you tonight. And thank you very much to our wonderful bagpiper, Ian Yearlink, for leading us in. I hope you got a chance to look at the paintings in the lobby, but if not, there will be time afterward. Meanwhile, we have the excitement of watching two paintings appear on the canvases on our stage over the course of this evening. Thank you to our painters, Debbie Mosier and Manaz Sobhani. Tonight's presentation is relevant because of the many difficulties facing mankind in establishing world peace and security on our planet. Baha'u'llah penned a very simple, very significant line. He said, "Let your vision be world-embracing rather than confined to your own self." In fact, the pivotal principle of his teachings is the oneness of humanity. About 6 months ago, a group of Nova Scotia artists came together and began working on this project. Their purpose was to bring wider awareness to the life and vision of Baha'u'llah. Who is Baha'u'llah? This evening, we will look at different aspects of his patronage, his life, his vision for humanity, and his summons to some of the kings and rulers of his time. These readings will be intertwined with beautiful music. Our musicians for this performance tonight are cellist Shimon Wald, pianist Diana Torbert, santur, sitar, and flute player Saeed Forghouni, Celtic harpist and chime player Cheryl Reed O'Hagan. Our vocalist tonight is Gordy Monroe, and with us also percussionist Robert Leake playing djembe. Just before we begin, I would like to ask you to check that your cell phones are silent and request that you hold your applause until the end of the program. And I should tell you that there will be no intermission. Let us begin.
Baha'u'llah was born on November 12, 1817 in Persia, the son of a wealthy government minister. His son Abdu'l-Baha later said this about his childhood. Baha'u'llah belonged to the nobility of Persia. From earliest childhood, he was distinguished among his relatives and friends. In wisdom, intelligence, and as a source of new knowledge, he was advanced beyond his age and superior to his surroundings. All who knew him were astonished at his precocity. After his father's death, Baha'u'llah declined the career in government to which he was entitled. When the Prime Minister was informed of Baha'u'llah's decision, he remarked, "Leave him to himself. Such a position is unworthy of him." Instead, Baha'u'llah devoted himself to philanthropy. He gave generously to the poor, and no one who came to him for help was turned away. Abdu'l-Baha said that he was a refuge for every weak one, a shelter for every fearing one, kind to every indigent one, lenient and loving to all creatures.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Professor Edward Granville Brown of Cambridge University. In April of 1890, I had the great honor of being the first Westerner to visit His Holiness Baha'u'llah. I conducted 4 interviews with him. The first of these I'll recount to you tonight. I have the details here in my notebook. Here it is. My conductor paused for a moment while I removed my shoes. Then, with a quick movement of the hand, he withdrew, and as I passed, replaced the curtain, and I found myself in a large apartment, along the upper end of which ran a low divan. Though I dimly suspected whither I was going and whom I was to behold, for no distinct intimation had been given to me, a second or two elapsed, ere, with a throb of wonder and awe, I became definitely conscious that the room was not untenanted. In the corner, where the divan met the wall, sat a wondrous and venerable figure, crowned with a felt headdress of the kind called Taj by the dervishes. The face on him whom I gazed I could never forget, though I cannot describe it. Those piercing eyes seemed to read one's very soul. Power and authority sat on that ample brow. No need to ask in whose presence I stood as I bowed myself before one who is the object of a devotion and love which kings might envy and emperors sigh for in vain. A mild, dignified voice bade me be seated. And then Baha'u'llah continued. Praise be to God, thou hast attained. Thou hast come to see a prisoner and an exile. We desire but the good of the world and happiness of the nations, yet they deem us a stirrer-up of strife and sedition, worthy of bondage and banishment. That all nations should become one in faith, and all men as brothers, that the bonds of affection and unity between the sons of men should be strengthened, that diversity of religion should cease, and differences of race be annulled. What harm is there in this? Yes, so it shall be. These fruitless strifes, these ruinous wars shall pass away, and the most great peace shall come. Do not you in Europe need this also? Is not this what Christ foretold? Yet do we see your kings and rulers lavishing their treasures more freely on means for the destruction of the human race than on that which would conduce to the happiness of mankind. These strifes and this bloodshed and discord must cease, and all men be as one kindred and one family. Let not a man glory in this, that he loves his country. Let him rather glory in this, that he loves his kind.
Baha'u'llah declares the well-being of mankind, its peace and security are unattainable unless and until its unity is firmly established. So powerful is the light of unity that it can illuminate the whole earth. He moreover cherisheth in his heart the desire of beholding the entire human race as one soul and one body. The unity of the human race, as envisaged by Baha'u'llah, implies the establishment of a world commonwealth in which all nations, races, creeds, and classes are closely and permanently united, and in which the autonomy of its state members and the personal freedom and initiative of the individuals that compose them are completely safeguarded. This commonwealth must, as far as we can visualize it, consist of a world legislature whose members will, as the trustees of the whole of mankind, ultimately control the entire resources of all the component nations, and will enact such laws as shall be required to regulate the life, satisfy the needs, and adjust the relationships of all races and peoples. A world executive backed by an international force will carry out the decisions arrived at and apply the laws enacted by this world legislature, and will safeguard the organic unity of the whole Commonwealth. A world tribunal will adjudicate and deliver its compulsory and final verdict in all and any disputes that may arise between the various elements constituting this universal system. A mechanism of world intercommunication will be devised, embracing the whole planet, freed from national hindrances and restrictions, and functioning with marvelous swiftness and perfect regularity. A world language will either be invented or chosen from among the existing languages, and will be taught in the schools of all the federated nations as an auxiliary to their mother tongue. A world script, a world literature, a uniform and universal system of currency, of weights and measures, will simplify and facilitate intercourse and understanding among the nations and races of mankind. National rivalries, hatreds, and intrigues will cease, and racial animosity and prejudice will be replaced by racial amity, understanding, and cooperation. The causes of religious strife will be permanently removed. Economic barriers and restrictions will be abolished, and the inordinate distinction between classes will be obliterated. Destitution on the one hand, and gross accumulation of ownership on the other, will disappear. The enormous energy dissipated and wasted on war, whether economic or political, will be consecrated to such ends as will extend the range of human inventions and technical development, to the increase of the productivity of mankind, to the extermination of disease, to the extension of scientific research, to the raising of the standard of physical health, to the sharpening and refinement of the human brain, to the exploitation of the unused and unsuspected resources of the planet, to the prolongation of human life, and to the furtherance of any other agency that can stimulate the intellectual, the moral, and spiritual life of the entire human race. Religious and sectarian antagonism, the hostility of races and peoples, and differences among nations will be eliminated. Who can doubt that such a consummation, the coming of age of the human race, must signalize in its turn the inauguration of a world civilization such as no mortal eye hath ever beheld or human mind conceived. Who is it that can imagine the lofty standard which such a civilization, as it unfolds itself, is destined to attain? Who can measure the heights to which human intelligence, liberated from its shackles, will soar? Who can visualize the realms which the human spirit, vitalized by the outpouring light of Baha'u'llah, shining in the plenitude of its glory, will discover?
The impact of a puppet show he saw as a child. When I was still a child and had not yet attained the age of maturity, my father made arrangements in Tehran for the marriage of one of my older brothers. And as is customary in that city, the festivities lasted for 7 days and 7 nights. On the last day, it was announced that the play, Shah Sultan Salim, about a king named Salim, would be presented. A large number of princes, dignitaries, and notables of the capital gathered for the occasion. I was sitting in one of the upper rooms of the building and observing the scene. Presently, a tent was pitched in the courtyard, and before long, some small human-like figures, each appearing to be no more than about a handspan in height, were seen to emerge from it and raise the call, "His Majesty is coming! Arrange the seats at once!" There appeared, arrayed in regal majesty and crowned with a royal diadem, a kingly figure, bearing himself with the utmost haughtiness and grandeur, at turns advancing and pausing in his progress, who proceeded with great solemnity, poise, and dignity to seat himself upon his throne. At that moment, a volley of shots was fired, a fanfare of trumpets was sounded, and king and tent were enveloped in a pall of smoke. When it had cleared, the king, ensconced upon his throne, was seen surrounded by a suite of ministers, princes, and dignitaries of state, who, having taken their places, were standing at attention in his presence. This youth regarded the scene with amazement. When the royal audience was ended, the curtain was drawn, and after some 20 minutes, a man emerged from behind the tent, carrying a box under his arm. "What is this box?" I asked him. "And what was the nature of this display?" "All this lavish display and these elaborate devices," he replied. "The king, the princes, the ministers, their pomp and glory, their might and power, everything you saw, are now contained within this box. I swear by my Lord, who through a single word of his mouth hath brought into being all created things. Ever since that day, all the trappings of the world have seemed in the eyes of this youth akin to that same spectacle. They have never been, nor will they ever be of any weight and consequence.
Oh, Pope! Oh, Pope! Dwellest thou in palaces while he who is the King of Revelation liveth in the most desolate of abodes? Leave them unto such as desire them, and set thy face with joy and delight towards the kingdom. Say, O peoples of the earth, destroy the abodes of negligence with the hands of power and assurance, and raise up mansions of true knowledge within thine hearts? That the All-Merciful may shed the radiance of his light upon them? O Supreme Pontiff, incline thine ear unto that which the fashioner of every mouldering bone counseleth thee. Sell all the embellished ornaments thou dost possess, and expend them in the path of God. Deal equitably with men. Should anyone offer thee all the treasures of the earth, refuse to even glance upon them? Consider a pearl which shineth by virtue of its inherent nature. If it be covered with silk, its luster and beauty will be concealed. Likewise, man's distinction lieth in the excellence of his conduct, and in pursuit of that which beseemeth his station, not in childish play and pastimes. Know that thy true adornment consisteth in the love of God, and in thy detachment from all save him, and not in the luxuries thou dost possess. Abandon them unto such as desire them. Open your eyes, O concourse of bishops. Bestir yourselves, that I may make you monarchs in the realm of my kingdom. If ye follow me, ye shall behold that which ye were promised. And I will make you my companions in the dominion of my majesty, and the intimates of my beauty, in the heaven of my power.
and how immense my forbearance, notwithstanding my power. Know thou that though my body be beneath the swords of my foes, and my limbs be beset with incalculable afflictions, yet my spirit is filled with a gladness which all the joys of the earth can never compare. It is for the sake of God alone that my tongue counseleth you, and that my pen moveth to make mention of you. For neither can the malice and denial of all who dwell on earth harm me, nor the allegiance of the entire creation profit me. We verily exhort you unto that which we were commanded, and desire not from you except that ye draw nigh unto what shall profit you in both this world and the world to come. O proud ones of the earth, arise from the tombs of self and desire. Think ye that the things ye possess shall profit you? Soon others will possess them, and ye will return into the dust with none to help or succor you. What advantage is there in a life that can be overtaken by death, or in an existence that is doomed to extinction, or in a prosperity that is subject to change? Blessed be the King whose sovereignty hath withheld him not from his sovereign, and who hath turned unto God with his heart. Ere long will such one find himself numbered with the stars of the realms of the kingdom.
O King of Paris, tell the priests to ring the bells no longer. The most mighty bell hath appeared in the form of him who is the most great name. Give ear, O King, we have desired for thee, naught except that which is better for thee than that which thou dost possess, and all the treasures of the earth. O King, we heard the words thou didst utter in answer to the Tsar of Russia concerning the decision made regarding the war. Thy Lord verily is informed of all. Thou didst say, I lay asleep upon my couch when the cry of the oppressed, who were drowned in the Black Sea, wakened me. This is what we heard thee say. We testify that that which wakened thee was not their cry, but the promptings of thine own passions. For we tested thee and found thee wanting. It is not our wish to address these words of condemnation, out of our regard for the dignity we conferred upon thee in this mortal life. We verily have chosen courtesy, and made it the true mark of such as are nigh unto him. Courtesy is, in truth, a raiment which fitteth all men.
Trading in slaves, both men and women. This verily is what God hath enjoined in this wondrous revelation. God hath truly destined a reward for thee because of this. He verily will pay the doer of good his due recompense. We have also heard that thou hast entrusted the reins of the council into the hands of the representatives of the people. Thou indeed hast done well. O ye, the elected representatives of the people in every land, take ye counsel together, and let your concern be only for that which profiteth mankind, and bettereth the condition thereof, if ye be of them that scan heedfully. O kings of the earth, fear the sighs and tears of this wronged one, and lay not excessive burdens on your peoples. Do not rob them, to rear palaces for yourselves, nay, rather, choose for them that which ye choose for yourselves. Your people are your treasures. By them ye rule, by their means ye subsist, by their aid ye conquer. Be united, O kings of the earth, for thereby will the tempest of discord be stilled amongst you, and your peoples find rest, if ye be of them that comprehend.
Of papal rule became the seat of a new kingdom. Baha'u'llah's exhortations to Alexander fell on deaf ears. In 1881, the Tsar was assassinated, and by 1917, his dynasty was gone. Napoleon received his second tablet in 1869. Months later, the emperor met his doom at the Battle of Sedan. He was taken prisoner and exiled. His empire collapsed. The prophecies made to Kaiser Wilhelm were all too tragically fulfilled in 2 successive world wars.
God grant that the light of unity may envelop the whole earth, and that the seal of the kingdom is God's may be stamped upon the brow of all its peoples. God grant that the light of unity may envelop the whole earth, and that the seal of the kingdom is God's may be stamped upon the brow of all its peoples. Baha'u'llah, Baha'u'llah.
Be generous in prosperity and thankful in adversity.
Regard man as a mind rich in gems and gems of inestimable value. Education can alone cause it to reveal its treasures and enable mankind to benefit therefrom.
Say, O brethren, let deeds, not words, be your adorning.
A thankful person is thankful under all circumstances. The complaining soul complains even in paradise.
Let your vision be world-embracing rather than confined to your own self.
The betterment of the world can be accomplished through pure and goodly deeds, and through commendable and seemly conduct.
Dedicate the precious days of your lives to the betterment of the world. The earth is but one country, and mankind its citizens.
Man's merit lieth in service and virtue, and not in the pageantry of wealth and riches.
So powerful is the light of unity that it can illuminate the whole earth.
Ye are the fruits of one tree, and the leaves of one branch. Deal ye one with another, with the utmost love and harmony, with friendliness and fellowship.
Religion without science is superstition. Science without religion is materialism.
The essence of faith is fewness of words and abundance of deeds.
The earth is but one country, and mankind its citizens.
encouraged and otherwise supported this event. Thank you very much. And thank you, all of you, for coming tonight and sharing this extraordinary experience with us. On your way out, you will each be handed one of the roses from the arrangements that we have here on our stage to take home with you. And on your way out, I would like to encourage you, if you haven't already, to please visit the lobby and see the display of artwork by our painters, Debbie Mosher and Anas Sobhani.
Oh, Deb, how are you? Nice to see you. Deb, you haven't met my wife before. Deb Skiller and Mrs. Johnson Ranger, my wife. Deb